AskReddit. AskReddit. r/AskReddit by Reddify. What would make you instantly lose trust in someone? If they bragged about betraying or deceiving someone who is also close to them. A friend drunkenly bragged about banging a mutual friend's GF. It was like being hit in the face by the ocean. Never thought of them the same way again. Nice metaphor. A couple years back I finally got to swim in an ocean for the first time. And there is no describing that feeling. Overpowering and terrifying when a wave hits you in the face harder than expected. Actually, isn't that a simile? Edit. So to put the debate at rest, I just looked it up. Similes are indeed a type of metaphor. My mistake. Unfortunately, I was taught similes and metaphors are two different things. Thanks Mrs. Williams. Not only did you fail to teach me proper English, but you also embarrassed me on Reddit. When someone constantly makes up BS to keep me invested in them. Like how the Reddit app says something is trending when it only has 93 upvotes in 3 hours. Literally entered this topic and got a notification about it trending. I think I'm famous. 3. Get those tits out to here grandma. Someone who is cool with you one-on-one. But when it comes to a social outing, they go out of their way to one-up you and show off every chance they get. Especially in front of the opposite ex or new people. Edit. Spelling. Man fuck those people. Love me a good man fuck. Does your username refer to a tiny, cute dildo, or to a dildo that is actually for a baby, or to a dildo made out of a baby? I need answers. Either way there is something wrong. Unless it's just a tiny, cute dildo. Not all of us are size queens. If they start telling me someone else's secrets, you just know they'd go around blabbing anything you tell them in confidence. Yeah. I have a friend who swears me to secrecy then blab all the juicy secrets his other friends have confided in him. I mean, I don't mind the part where I hear the gossip cause it is juicy. But damn if I'll ever tell him something I want kept secret. That's because your friend wants to be the one to tell everybody the gossip. I have a friend exactly like that and he can't keep a secret no more than colander can hold water. I saw this comment and used the analogy in a conversation not 3 minutes later. I'm now the coolest kid on the block. Yes, but did you say colander correctly? Yes, I said strainer. If somebody makes it a point to stress how every relationship of theirs ended because it was all the other person's fault, someone who's comfortable always putting the blame on other people generally shouldn't be trusted. I had this dude playing the victim card. Said he was depressed because he had an unlucky life and crazy girlfriends. Yet his stories didn't add up cause they all seemed like decent people. Turned out he was full of himself and happened to be blatantly hypocritical to the point where he was dang rude. I broke up with him and he set it up for me to seem crazy. I was afraid to approach his friends cause of what he said. Half of them take me seriously, but I'm afraid the other half didn't know me well enough to not believe him. I feel like that's pretty standard in every breakup. One ex of mine went to all of our friends we met in the group of 20 before he broke up with me asking if he should break up with me. Everyone knew before I did that I was getting dumped. Even my best friend. And no one said a word. Edit. I should clarify, I did not mean that all breaks end up with people knowing before they do as being standard. I meant the mass breakup that comes when a relationship ends. Lose a partner. Lose a bunch of friends too. IDK if that's worse than all of your friends knowing that your girlfriend cheated on you and no one said a word. I'm no longer friends with any of those cunts. Yay, that's fucked up. Finding out they secretly dislike me when they've always been nice to my face. Yeah. There was someone who I thought I was friends with for 2 years. When I asked my other friend if he'd invite me into a group chat he was in, and he asked the chat if that was alright, the person sent a message to the entire chat about how annoying he thought I was. It was pretty damaging to my ego. Sounds like a cloaker monster. I have entire notebook on the different types of monsters people can be. This is a classic cloaker. The cloaker is something you really don't need to worry about. They are nothing, yet they are everything. And they are based off of hate and deception. which they use to manipulate people into beings that make it easier to function in their miserable world. Think of it like this: the average person is a well-rounded rock, lots of different minerals that make it diverse yet hard and durable. And society is like a big barrel of these rocks. But the cloaker is just a big puddle of simple mercury. It's weak and poisonous. And the only thing it knows how to do is spill all over the rocks, leaving a little bit of its poison behind on each one it passes. Then settle down, filling the cracks between the rocks at the bottom of the barrel. You were a rock at the top, you're superior and a good person. And the cloaker may have gotten a little of its poison on you, but now it's on its way to the bottom of the bucket like the simple fluid loser it is. Edit. Thanks for all the gold and interest. I need some time to think about where to go with this. But I think I'd like to make a sub where I, and anyone else who wants to, shares monsters. Then anyone who wants to can post illustrations of them in the comment section. The sub is a good idea because it lets us make this free and widely available. But the idea of putting together some kind of book excites me as well. So I'm going to PM the people who said they were interested in doing that. If anyone else thinks they'd like to help contribute, please PM me. Edit 2. I created a sub. r/monsters. Also, I'd like to clarify that I know writing about monsters isn't a legitimate social science. It's just for fun. Duh. Tell me more, sensei. Not sarcasm. Another common and possibly more relatable one is the Tinker monster. The Tinker has had a very specific idea of what they want in life, but can never fully achieve it. So they build false realities around them to keep themselves grounded. The distinguishing factor between a tinker and an ordinary dreamer is that the tinker builds things up only to knock them down. Because their personalities are centered around anger and perfectionism, they'll never be happy with what they do. So they destroy it like a little kid knocking down a tower of tinker toys. They may go through the cycle of building up a life around themselves to destroy multiple times in their life. Some even do it multiple times per year. Socially, they may meander around with different people until they find someone they click with, usually because they make them feel comfortable by fulfilling some missing piece from their vision of what their life should be. Whenever they ask you to spend casual time together, it may seem a little like they are trying to accomplish a goal rather than just genuinely enjoy your company. And when you ask them to do something, they may decline, seem unenthusiastic or artificially interested, or even ask you to change plans to better suit their mindset. They do all of this to satisfy their cravings, to create the life they've dreamed of, and they do it to multiple people, often creating social groups centered around themselves or in common interest they are interested in. They build up highly complex webs of people and ideas and hobbies, all connected to each other like a big sculpture of tinker toys. Then, when they've finished building up something worth living for, and it can be very impressive or not at all, they take a step back and realize it's not perfect. It's not the life they've dreamed of. It's only a ploy to keep themselves sane. So they sabotage it all in different ways, ranging from going radio silent, divorcing, destroying their business or businesses, turning everyone against themselves, or even resorting to violence. We all dream and we all do things to make ourselves happy and help realize some of our fantasies. We might even make our own tinker sculptures which we live and possibly flourish around. What makes a tinker different is that they negatively obsess over it and will never be happy, even if they have every reason to be. So they destroy what they've tinkered, then start a new project. Edit. TL. Doctor, the Tinker Monster is a goal-center perfectionist who views people, ideas, and opportunities like tinker toys that they can web together into a sculpture of the perfect life they dream of. But they can never get it quite right, so they knock it all down and start again. Please publish a book, a primer on social monstrosities. I'd read the heck out of it. Also, if you're secretly J.K. Rowling, keep up the good work. When they say they can't afford to pay you the money they owe you, but they are constantly spending money on other unnecessary things, fancy new gadgets/toys, expensive food, betting money on football games, etc. There's a big difference between not having the money and just not wanting to pay somebody. Just had this happen with a friend. He borrowed $900 from me and then went and spent $1,000 a week later on new wheels and tires that he didn't need. Then said to me we agreed on a payment plan. When I confronted him, yeah, That was because you said you didn't have the money. My guess, you paid for a need, and he paid for a want. I have a cousin that did this to me. This is exactly the wording I've been looking for. First rule of lending friends money: don't lend money you expect to get back. My friend borrowed $500 a few months ago, then called me saying he couldn't pay it back because he needed to pay off his mom's funeral. I told him it was understandable and okay. Fast forward up to New Year's, and he gives me an envelope with $1,000 cash and says $500 is to pay me back. $500 in interest. If I caught them lying too much, or going out of their way to lie when they don't really have to, I used to always lie about my excuses, because I thought my real reasons were never good enough. What were your parents like? I totally got into this habit, because my parents were terribly judgmental and restrictive. And I had to lie to do most anything I wanted. They eased up as I got older, but for a while I couldn't kick the habit of lying about pointless shit, just because I never felt like I had adequate justification to do anything. Here's the thing. I lie about little things every day, but I never lie about large issues. I don't know why. I delved into myself before trying to figure out why I do this. And I don't know. Do I actually lie about large things and just tell myself I don't? Am I delusional to the point where I see a false reality? I tell myself that I don't lie about large things. That I'm not self-absorbed in a false reality. And I fully believe it. But am I just fooling myself? Am I lying to myself? I don't know. The more I go down this rabbit hole, the weirder things get. Edit. Whoa. I didn't know that so many people felt the same way and have similar experiences. This habit for some of us may just be human nature. I'm including some quotes from people who have replied which explain why we do this and how to stop doing so. Thank you/you/Gus1. This deeply affected me. I think the first step is to be brutally honest with yourself about literally everything. You may not like it, but man, in the long run you'll thank yourself. Ask yourself what you really think, or what you really want, or why you really did/said what you did/said. Even if you don't tell anyone else, no one else has to know, unless you want them to, but you have to be honest with yourself first. Then you have to accept yourself. Trust me, you're really not that bad. Not any worse than anyone else trying to live in this cruel world. Once you accept yourself and realize you're not that bad, you can build your confidence up. No one is perfect. No one. Literally everyone makes mistakes. Some fatally so. You're still alive, so you're not that bad. Once you build up some confidence, you can trust yourself. Trust that you're making the best decisions that you know to make. No one knows everything. You know what you know. You have to be honest with yourself about what you don't know though. If you want to know, don't be afraid to ask someone who knows. Humanity wouldn't be where we are technologically speaking if we didn't pass on knowledge to each other. If you don't know, don't be afraid to ask. Once you realize you are making the best decisions that you know how to make, and see yourself learning and growing, able to make better and more informed decisions one after another, your confidence will grow even more. Then you will become unshakable. Won't happen overnight. It's taken me 10 years, and I'm still not unshakable. But I'm getting there. And so are you. Just be honest with yourself. To quote /you/Dr. Osama Bal69. Understand that you don't always need to outdo everyone. Try acknowledging people instead of thinking of how to one-up them on everything. The fact that you recognize it's an issue you have is the absolute biggest part in correcting it. So you're definitely on the right track. Some great advice by /you/Faithkper. It's easy to fix this. Notice when you lie. Mark the occasion somehow. Something you can physically do inconspicuously. Let's say you squeeze your pointer and middle finger together on your left hand. In this way you're training your body to detect your own lies. After a while it should be a Pavlovian reaction. By this point, you realize in the beginning or middle of the lie that it's a lie. If you realize in the beginning, easy. Stop talking. If you realize in the middle, stop what you're saying. Tell this person that's not true. I'm not sure why I said that. Sorry. Yeah, it's kinda embarrassing. But trust me, It's not as bad as you think. Do it consistently. Even if you catch yourself in lies all the time, you've become honest by exposing it every time. Now you don't need to worry about your sanity. Perhaps some embarrassment. Until the lies cease altogether. But that seems to be a fair trade. Thanks to /u/GeneralGeorge95, I think I can find peace now. If you have this level of self-awareness, you're probably doing decent as far as I'm concerned. And one of the many people who have come out as having the same issue. /u/RMHXXX. Are you me? I think it is almost comical that here we are. A group of people who have issues with lying over mundane things. All opening up and being honest with complete strangers on the internet. I have felt the power of Reddit before. But this is amazing. Edit 2. Obligational thanks for my first gold. Much obliged. /u/BizzaScout. I never thought that I would ever get gilded. Much less have such an impact on other people. All because of one comment. I want to thank every one of you for your replies. I read them all. You have helped me find solace. And for that, I can never thank you enough. This is something I catch myself doing as well. Maybe you can only lie about little things because they don't really matter. And therefore you don't feel regret, so don't stop. I went to therapy for a long time for this and anger issues, both of which stemmed from my childhood. It's a low rung in the ladder towards becoming a pathological liar, and is honestly pretty common. It only really becomes dangerous when you aren't aware that you're doing it and other people, read, parents/peers/family, allow you to continue doing so without trying to stop you. I started doing the same thing when I was younger, and it got worse and worse until I was convincing myself that the lies I was telling were true. By the time I was 19, 20, I couldn't remember what was real and what wasn't anymore. I was that guy, you know, the one-up guy, the guy who always has a fantastical story for everything, the guy who sounds like he comes from a cartoon world. Eventually, a combination of stupid lies, poor decision making, and bad anger problems led to me kind of ending up without any friends. And I started going to a therapist. 12 years later, I'm finally doing better, but man, that was a shitty time in my life. #THANKS.